Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and not to stall the review, but today's a pretty special day. You see, the tech around here has always been able to access the Morphin Grid to a certain extent, but Kaizoku and Chomsky have been doing their homework, and they tell me that they can get one of the Morphers around here to finally produce me a suit. They have chosen the Mighty Morpher, as I've come to call it, and the Tyrannosaurus Power Coin, since that has the longest standing connection to the Morphin Grid. It is a shame that nothing around here can turn me into a real-life Orange Ranger. The closest thing would either be my Applechanger or the Sasori Kyutama, but those connect to the Sentai dimension, and it's a whole other kettle of fish. Besides, with the Silver Skull on his way back at some point, I'll take whatever I can get. So, Kaizoku, how we looking?
I think we're set. I've made all the adjustments I can, and Professor Horse Monkey Whisper Cow consulted with some actually helpful notes. Time to give this thing a try. I've got shields and stasis fields on standby. You know, just in case.
Well, never can be too careful, I guess. Here goes nothing. It's morphin' time! Tyrannosaurus! Kaizoku, doesn't look like it worked.
Adjusting dimensional bridge frequency. Try again.
Well, alright. Second time's the charm. It's morphin' time! Tyrannosaurus! Whoa! This is incredible! Yes!
Wow.
Wow, this is really amazing. I feel just like a Power Ranger. I can feel the grid flowing through me. But I don't know if the suit looks quite right.
Yeah, this is our first real try at forming Morph-X into a suit. The Morphers weren't originally designed to access the grid across a dimensional gap. We'll work on it.
Well, it's pretty excellent work nonetheless. Great job, you two. And how ironically appropriate that I happen to have a brand new costume, as the Rangers are also wearing costumes. That's right, it's time to skip forward in time 2 weeks and see if another Rangers Holiday Clip Show is a treat or a trick. Let's take a look at the 21st, by production numbers, episode of Beast Morphers Hypnotic Halloween. Trick or treat. It's Halloween at Grid Battle Force, and Nate has somehow booked the lab for a Halloween party. But remember, the lab is a sterile environment. Anyway, Zoe has brought in a costume chest so everyone can dress up. Nate is Dr. Frankenstein, and appropriately enough, Steel is Frankenstein's monster. You know, there's an interesting quote associated with those two. Knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein is not the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Zoe is Ingrid Ironaxe, a Viking warrior, and Ravi is Sherlock Holmes, doing one of the worst accents that I have ever heard. Nate pulls up a movie on a weird streaming site that's supposed to be really scary, but it's actually a hypnotizing video by Scrozzle, who tells the Rangers they are now all the characters that they are dressed as. Devon shows up late, apparently not really into the whole Halloween thing. He just manages to see Scrozzle's image on the screen, and then everyone launches into their parts. Steel attacks Nate and the two run off, and Zoe goes running off looking for a feast. Devon stops Ravi, who thinks he really is Sherlock Holmes. Holmes will not answer to anyone but a member of Scotland Yard, aka a cop. And it just so happens that there is a British police costume in this TARDIS-like chest of costumes. So Devon dresses up and reports a missing person to Sherlock Holmes, Ravi. Holmes needs details to go find this person, so Devon tells him about things like how Ravi overcame his fear of the dentist and taught a young man karate, especially how karate is only to be used for self-defense right after the young man said he was going to use it to defend himself. And a clip show using clips from the previous episode is never not going to be awkward. Ravi comes back to himself, the magical power of clips from previous episodes reversing the hypnosis. Devon realizes this is the method they're going to have to use to free all of the others, wearing costumes that will get their characters to trust them. He finds another Viking costume in this seemingly bottomless chest. Credit where it's due, earlier in the episode, Zoe was looking at a Viking axe that she then dismissed, so there could be some redundant elements in this chest, and says he will take care of Zoe. He finds her out in the hallway, attacking a vending machine. He gets himself into character, calling himself Devon, son of Daniels, which makes him sound more like a Klingon than a Viking. She thinks he's there to steal the sweet plunder of honey buns and danishes she just scored, so she throws her axe at him. And they make it look for all the world like a real axe with the shininess and ding sound effects to indicate that it's sharp. Why would her costume come with a real axe? The answer to that question is that it does not. This was just a really cheap going to theme song drama gag. The axe is not real, it's rubber, it bounces right off of Devon's chest. And then the WTF-ery just gets turned up to 11 as Devon uses his Morpher to do a cable strike to tie Zoe up. This is the type of thing the Beast Morphers usually quietly establishes earlier in the episode. We could have had Nate going, okay, the adjustments to the Morphers are complete, now we can watch the scary movie. Ingrid thinks she's a failure because she's fallen in battle, but Devon, that's actually both his real name and his character name in costume, says that's nonsense. Ingrid reminds him of one of the fiercest warriors he's ever fought alongside, Zoe Reeves. Zoe is a fearsome warrior that solves big problems like virus-infested morphs, and always apologizes when she says mean things about her rabbit robot. Her rabot, if you will. Zoe snaps out a bit and wonders what she's doing, and what Devon's doing. Didn't he say he doesn't like Halloween? He says it's a long story, and more fun than he expected. Nice little character touch there. Moving on, Ravi finds Dr. Frankensteel's monster chasing Dr. Natenstein around the lab. He ties the two up with the cable strike. Ah, a brand new Morpher function brought to us directly from the Plot Convenience Warehouse. And the other three Rangers act as a sort of panel of doctors. They tell the two about another doctor they know and his creation, a robot that was made for evil but fights for good. The two of them fighting against evil as Power Rangers and real-life brothers. By the by, I think Zoe throws on an odd but kind of cute country accent in this. Anyway, they are reawakened as well. Nate apologizes for calling Steel hideous, and Steel says he knows he's not hideous. He's stunning. Kind of like I'm looking in this Ranger suit, I gotta say. Commander Shaw calls the Rangers, telling them that the clip show portion of the episode is over, so now we can get to some action. Interestingly, Scrozzle's acting on his own this time. Probably the safest move with the production number at the end of the season, considering we're not really sure what Blaze and Roxy's status is going to be at that point, but we can be pretty sure that Scrozzle's still going to be around. And I love how he mentioned that his plan to capture a Morph-X Truck took all morning. The Rangers show up, and we get to see why this was the perfect Robotron to use in this kind of an episode. The Robotron, Spiketron, looks all scary and pointy and spiky at first, but when it holds up its arm, we can see that, yeah, it was created from a fork. That's hard to rationalize to a story this serious. Maybe Scrozzle was eating breakfast and just used whatever he had to hand. The Rangers start fighting, but Scrozzle had teleported away without taking the Morph-X truck that he had completely secured and sent a Giga Drone. This Giga Drone looks very generic at first. It just seems to have kind of a pointy wrist. Anyway, Ravi tells Devon and Zoe to go deal with that. Seems like Devon could have dealt with that by himself and Zoe could stay and fight the monster, but hey. Devon does his finishing move on it, and that activates the crawling in my skin second Giga Drone. The two drones are too much for the Rangers, so Nate tells Robbie to go help while they deal with Tron. Robbie goes and gets the Wheeler Zord to go help them, while Nate and Steel take care of the monster. They use a very visually impressive attack, the Striker Beast Slash. The Rangers form the Beast X Megazord, but here's a twist for you. Their Morph-X levels are too low. They immediately get blasted out of the formation, and the Delta Giga Drone hits the Racer Zord with spikes that take it out of commission so they can't reform anyway. Robbie has the Gorilla Zord get out in front and take damage as a shield. It's a brave move, but they paint it as if he's trying to buy time for something, but they never get around to explaining what he's buying time for. What he is buying time for is for Nate and Steel to realize that there's trouble and summon their own Zords. This is just a really cool Zord fight. Nate uses the Wrecker Zord to pick up Spike Drone, and spin it around, then releasing it so Robbie can have the Gorilla Zord fire its banana missiles and take the thing out. Then the Wrecker Zord goes into battle mode, pinning the Delta Giga Drone with its crane arm, so this is the best part. Steel's Jet Zord can cruise down the crane arm and crash into the monster.
That was totally wicked!
Back at the base, the Rangers are once again getting ready to watch their scary movie, Nate having pulled something up on Netflix this time like a rational person. Devon is running late once again, and the others think that he's still just not all that enthusiastic about Halloween. Suddenly, a masked ninja bursts into the room and starts slashing things up. Okay, it's Devon. All the costume stuff showed him how fun Halloween can be, so he picked a character from one of his favorite video games and decided to dress up, now loving the trick-or-treat holiday. Oh, hang on. I can actually do this for real this time. Activate solar protection. Heroes, you know that I'd never try to mask my feelings about an episode, so let's throw some shades. Episode 21, Hypnotic Halloween. Pros, well-handled clips, a decent other plot, and a fantastic Zord fight. Cons, another diversion from the main plot, kind of a silly monster, and a little too bottle show. Go-Go Power Rangers issue 24 was how cute, said through clenched teeth. This was how cute, said with a smile. Hypnotic Halloween gets 3.5 shades out of 5. At this point, I think we've all just kind of accepted that clip shows are going to be part of a Power Rangers season, especially on the holidays. There have been good ones, there have been bad ones. I think this one was handled very well, mainly due to my second pro, but I think even the clips were handled particularly well. Clips from past episodes reminding characters of who they are is kind of tropey, but it works, and I think more importantly, these characters are so genuine that it comes off as perfectly acceptable. But the great thing about this particular clip show is that it manages to work in a decent other plot. And decent is a word that I choose specifically. It's not amazing, it's really basic, but it does get the job done. Scrozzle does something to distract the Rangers and then scores a Morph-X Truck. And yes, in my headcanon at least, he did get that Morph-X Truck because it just wouldn't be like him to leave a resource like that behind, and it gives them some more Morph-X to work with. Scrozzle succeeds where others have failed. But for me, the crux of this episode is that amazing Zord fight. By now, you all know that I'm a sucker for a good knockdown, drag-out Zord fight that has some real meat to it, and that's what we got here. I love how they kind of set it up as the three Rangers are forming their Megazords, here comes the gun slash, beginning of the end, yada yada yada. But oops, that doesn't actually work this time. Nate and Steel have to come in and save the day, not by forming their combined Megazord, but with an amazing finishing move. Need to deal with a Giga Drone? Crash a jet about it. The cons are all kind of minor this week and all fall under the category of what were you expecting from a holiday clip show. They're really stretching out the Beast Power subplot arc thing. I get that this is episode 21, not episode 14, so it's technically not part of that arc, but the calendar says that it is. This is the second holiday we've gotten this season, Valentine's Day being the first, so this season has been more or less following the calendar. This is happening now, so this is another week where nothing happened on that front. The monster hardly matters in an episode like this. I remember a Megaforce holiday clip show where the monster ended up being one advanced grunt. This was a chance to use a sillier monster, though last week they used a tuba, so who knows there. Because Beast Morphers would have just a little bit of trouble explaining why Roxy thought that a fork would make a good monster. All in all, it was just a bit silly. And this episode just felt a little too self-contained, focused on the primary cast. As happy as I was to not see Ben and Betty flailing their way through another scene in comic relief, Halloween seems like kind of the perfect opportunity for them to put on costumes and be goofy and for us to not get all that upset about it. Commander Shaw gets one short scene in the episode, but wouldn't she be kind of upset Robbie was fooling around with costumes? And let's just see some of the workers in the hallway dressed as mummies and vampires and etc. All in all, I have to say that I'm impressed. There are some ways that this episode could have been done better, but there are also ways it could have been far, far worse than what we got. It really was cute in a good way. The episode left me with a smile on my face, and I mean, the moral of the day is Halloween is fun. How can you beat that? Next time, we're back to pushing the plot forward again, though not necessarily with the Beast Power subplot. Let's take a peek at the 14th episode of Beast Morphers, Sound and Fury. Here's hoping it doesn't signify nothing. Blaze discovers Scrozzle's unique energy source, using it to massively enhance his latest Robotron. That's going to do it for another Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode review. Heroes, thank you so much as always for watching. In the comments below, let me know what you thought of this episode as well as my review of it. How did you feel about this Halloween clip show? Was it too much of an interruption? Are you really itching to get back to that plot? Or was this a nice little aside with the costumes and the etc., etc.? Let me know that down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button and make sure that you let me know that you enjoyed this video, because I love knowing that you folks like the content I put out. If you really like the content I put out, make sure you're subscribed to my channel to see all of my videos, and also that you ring that bell, get those notifications set up so you'll be notified whenever I post brand new videos, such as these Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode reviews. If you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, consider becoming one of my patrons over on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/OrangeRangerVideos. You can see the various tiers of support and the benefits you get from that, and that would mean a whole lot to me. 2 Patreons on there so far. They are patrons, not Patreons. I will learn that difference eventually, but I greatly appreciate that support and hope to see even more. But if you can't commit to the monthly Patreon thing, I totally understand that. Consider going on over to ko-fi.com/OrangeRangerVideos, where you can buy me a coffee that I will handle very gently in costume here, even with an imaginary coffee. It's still imaginarily delicious. I still imaginarily set it down over there and really tell you that they are set to $3, and I greatly appreciate any support I find at those sites. Until next time, heroes, you know what? Power down! May the power protect you.
Adjusting dimensional bridge. Adjusting dimensional bridge.
Well, I should be looking at him. The Beast Slasher Slice Fart. It works real good, the Striker Beast Slash. So Nate tells Robbie to go help, that they will handle the Robotron. They use a very visually impressive finishing move. So Nate tells Robbie to go help, and they'll handle Spike-Tron. God dang it. The 2 drones are too much for the Rangers. 6, I think. If you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, consider becoming one of my Patreons. Until next time, heroes. You know what? Actually, power down!